What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Jermaine Event, Main on MMA, and today we are checking out a video from the fighting business. As you guys can see on your screen, it's a look at this weekend's main event between Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov in Saudi Arabia, ladies and gents. It's going down in Saudi Arabia this weekend. Let's see what the fighting business has to say about Izzy, our boy Izzy, in his return fight. Non-title fight, first non-title fight in some years, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what it's all about.
2019, Israel Adesanya will enter the octagon without the gold belt up for grabs. It's a weird sight for all of us. We witnessed him rule over the middleweight division, and back then, Izzy wasn't just a champion. He was viewed as the future of the sport.
He's special, man. I think he's going to be the next big superstar. I really do. I mean, he fights with as much skill as we've ever seen a striker. I mean, he's Anderson Silva 2.0.
But times have changed. The aura of invincibility is gone, replaced by scars of hard-fought wars and shocking upsets. Adesanya, once synonymous with the middleweight title, now finds himself at a crossroads, searching for redemption against a hungry, younger contender. Thing is, this young and hungry contender has been wanting, dreaming, and manifesting this very moment for his whole life.
That's a fight I've been looking for since I went to the UFC. Israel Adesanya is a legend, so happy to fight against it.
At UFC Saudi Arabia, the former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya is now defending his ranking and status as a top middleweight against a young up-and-comer Nassourdine Imavov. Never thought we'd see these two face off, but here we are once again. Like usual, a former champion, once untouchable, now standing across from the next generation.
There's a split second in there that I was just like, holy shit.
Man,
I'm fighting Anderson Silva.
As always, in MMA, you just don't know how this will go.
I've done a lot, and I really appreciate the position I'm in. So now I just want to, I don't want to say do it right, but do it different. For me, it's about me and just improving and really showing what I can really do in the full range of mixed martial arts.
Thank you to the fighting business. Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite new channels going right now.
Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. It's always weird to see a once dominant champions among the contenders,
this guy, he's
but
cool.
with Izzy, it's almost surreal. You remember that time when he knocked out Poatan at UFC 287 and was on top of the MMA world, sent that Brazilian war god out of the middleweight division, and many, myself included, thought that Adesanya was going to dominate the division for the foreseeable future.
First of all, I didn't say he jerked his dog off. He jerked his dog off. I'm just reiterating the video.
Okay.
Yeah, man, you got to see this, bro. I'm gonna send you.
I don't have to see it.
From knocking out Alex Pereira to getting outclassed by Strickland, this was a fall so brutal that we weren't even sure that we would ever see Adesanya compete again. With the Last Stylebender on the sidelines, the division moved on and the belt changed hand once again. Dricus du Plessis, another unlikely wild card, became champion. Didn't see that coming either, but with DDP now champion, a route opened up for Adesanya straight for the title.
The middleweight division right now is pretty wide open with contenders that haven't fought for the belt or fought you. What do you ultimately want your reign to be?
Yeah, listen, I want to do what is expected. Fighting Israel Adesanya makes sense.
Their storyline had heat, and of course, the UFC went ahead and booked the battle of the Throne of Africa. In one of the biggest fights of the year, Israel faced the champion Dricus du Plessis, and there was a lot going on, and a lot he had to answer. Outclassed in a brutal upset, out for close to a year, and now he was in the cage with a madman like DDP. It was time to see whether Izzy was still Izzy, whether he still had the dog, or maybe that's not the right word here actually. Regardless, we found out he was. DDP was just better. The former champion was now on a two-fight skid, but by going punch for punch with DDP, he had proven that he still belonged, that he was still Izzy, and right after, he claimed that he would be back, and quick.
Again, I'm not fucking leaving. I feel amazing. I'm not losing this body. I'm not fucking losing these gains. I feel amazing, bro. So I'll sink some piss, have some barbecue, and yeah, we'll go again.
So here we are. Israel Adesanya, once upon a time the invincible champion of 185, will be part of a non-title fight, and his opponents will be Nassourdine Imavov. To recap his recent history, well, it's been a little weird. From a loss to Sean Strickland at 205, on short notice granted, to a no contest against Chris Curtis because of a head clash, Imavov then beat Roman Dolidze in a majority decision and then had a massive step up in competition against Jared Cannonier. He was doing really well, definitely winning, but that stoppage was bullshit, whichever way you look at it.
If you want to err on the side of caution, I get it. It's not the main event, I get it. 40? With the legacy of fights he's been in main event over 5 times? The fuck are you doing, dude?
In his last bouts, he beat Brandon Allen, a fellow contender, and thankfully for once, nothing weird happened. If there were some doubts about his potential, then the Allen victory made it pretty clear Imavov is good, and a fight against a star like Israel is exactly what he needs right now. But
I thought Allen should have won
more than he can handle. If you even discussed this during Adesanya's title reign,
before the
he'd be
fight,
laughed out of the room.
Now just kind of the success that he's had and then how everybody's calling him, man, he's the guy who can beat him at 185.
A striker who isn't a double kickboxing champion. Please, Israel would win a boring yet dominant decision, but a lot has changed since then, especially in terms of aura and mystique. Strickland was able to beat him with clean boxing and good defense. Dricus mixed up the striking with grappling and finished him eventually.
I mean, maybe not a guy who wows you with style or grace, but he's got every skill in the book. He's got more will than most, and he is still the man at 185.
Well, he mixes it up, and that's what you got to watch. And you got to watch the way that he lands his punches and that left kick. There's things that are very graceful and finesseful that he does. It's just as a whole, sometimes it gets messy.
Imavov isn't the clean striker that Strickland is, nor is he the kind of grappler DDP is, but he is decent enough in both, and hungry, and sometimes being young and hungry is enough to tip the scales. Imavov has nothing to lose and everything to gain. He's not burdened by the weight of expectations or the haunting ghost of past glory. For him, this fight is an opportunity to climb the ranks, make a name for himself, and stake his claim as a legitimate contender in the middleweight division.
The way that he blends them up, the way that he level changes after landing a couple of shots, shooting in, getting the takedown, is very effective at it. And if Dricus du Plessis was able to do that, whereas in the past people couldn't do that, then that's going to be a little bit troubling if you're putting money on Israel Adesanya.
This isn't just another fight for Izzy either. It's his chance to prove that he still belongs at the top, that there is still more legacy to be written. You know, the whole y'all must have forgot thing.
For me, I'm just like, man, fuck, I'm good at this shit, eh? I forget because, reasons, but yeah, it's good to remind yourself. I keep saying y'all must have forgot. Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah, that's what's on the line here. Reality is though,
his counter striking is, honestly, it's one of the best I've ever seen. So you have to take that into consideration when preparing for him. I don't like the guy, but he's bloody good, you know what I mean?
We live in a different time. Fighters used to approach him like he was untouchable.
Israel has garnered a lot of clout, or I can't think of the right word, but rightfully so. The man has been putting in work. He's been doing his thing and look good doing it.
But now they see him as normal.
When you take some losses and you were at the top of the division for as long as he was, motivation can start lacking, right? You can start doubting yourself and not be as hungry because you're not the champion anymore and you're trying to get yourself back there.
At 28 years old, Imavov is entering his prime. Adesanya, now in his mid-30s, has been through wars. Even the best fighters eventually slow down, and while Izzy hasn't shown any major physical decline, you never know which night is your day of reckoning. The stakes can be higher for both men. One vintage performance for Adesanya, and he's fighting for the title, like it or not. But if Imavov beats the former kingpin of 185, he can finally and proudly announce himself as the next big thing. Either way, we'll get answers and a glimpse at the future of the middleweight division. The stage is set at UFC Saudi Arabia for a clash of eras. On one side stands Israel Adesanya, a former champion whose dominance once defined the middleweight division, but he is now fighting to protect his legacy. On the other hand, Nassourdine Imavov, a hungry and ambitious contender, is ready to seize the moments.
Shout out to the fighting business for the dope glands at this weekend's main event, Izzy versus Imavov. I mean, it's a good fight. You know, Imavov has that interesting style. I don't think I really know where Imavov is, because I didn't know until after his last fight that he had left the gym in Paris where he was training with Cyril Gane. I thought they were still training together, and he had that similar style and similar limitations. He was a better grappler, but he had similar limitations to what we saw when he fought when Imavov fought Strickland on short notice, a weight class up. that fight didn't go too well for him. But that fight didn't go too well for Israel Adesanya when he fought Strickland. So maybe that style is just difficult for these kind of strikers. I think when we're looking at Izzy and we're looking at Imavov, they're two people who like to set the pace and fight at a distance. Imavov is going to try to keep circling, just like Izzy's going to try to keep circling, and then glide in. They want to slide in, touch, and then move. You want to hit and not get hit. At least that's what Izzy typically looked like. But I'd say his boxing, he was doing less kicking and more boxing in his last fight against DDP. I thought his boxing looked phenomenal in that fight. So I'm not really sure what we get in here. I'm not sure what layers, what ripples Imavov has added to his game since leaving the gym in Paris. So this is an interesting fight night, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I have to roll with my favorite fighter, Israel Adesanya, the Last Stylebender. Have to roll with Izzy. Team Izzy over here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about the Fighting Business video? And who do you have in this weekend's main event? Are you Team Izzy or are you Team Imavov? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys once again for being here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you guys when I see you. I'll holla.